Mesa, the gunslinger, the cowgirl. Now, I've been playing her a lot recently because I watched a lot of gameplay for her, and I was like, damn, I haven't played Mesa in a bit, right? And I was like, maybe give her a try again. And she's really good. She's really good. Now, honestly, when I first played her, like way back then, like a couple years ago, I only used her for a little bit because honestly, like I thought she was pretty boring to play, straight up. But now that I actually do, like I'm actually playing her now, she's really good. So we're gonna go jump into her passive and her abilities. It's really good. So we're just gonna go yoink. Her passive, straight up, not good. It says so you could dual wield sidearms. Oh wait, shoot dual wield at fire. You just fire dual wield guns, secondaries, 50% longer. Not 50% longer, 50% faster, and you reload sidearms, 20%, 25% more rapidly, and gain 50% bonus health when not using melee weapons, which is kind of trash, right? It's kind of it's iffy. Her first ability. Now people like to call this ability super garbage because honestly it's only for one shot, but there's a lot of builds for a lot of things that you could use for ballistic battery. Now, I am working on a build for Colorbo with this in mind because there's also another assume ability that you can just freely get while having a warframe. Is a I forgot what's it called, but so it's the one where you are able to mark an enemy for death, and if that enemy dies, it transfers 50% of its damage to other enemies. Now that colorful video, I'm gonna have to talk about it, but that because you could combine his three with that one to just do massive damage. But you could also add ballistic battery onto Colorvo and just get like a single shot weapon like the Kuva Heck or a sniper rifle because Colorvo can actually make sniper rifles viable now because of the damage transfer. You could honestly make builds for this straight up. AoE explosive weapons really work with this too because the damage just gets multiplied by a shit ton. And it's crazy, and it's not a shit ability. You just have to really build for it to be good, and it is only really good in specific situations. But it works. I am tired of people calling this trash because it's not. There's worse abilities out there. Straight up worse abilities out there that serve no purpose. Now, shooting gallery, really good. Good CC. It jams enemies' guns. That means they can't shoot. It's fucking hilarious. It's straight up good. Now, Shatter Shield is your defense. Straight up, it's straight up your defense. It is super good. Your damage reduction, if you have high power strength, I think the requirement is like 185. I think 185, 185, at least above 180 to reach 95. I base is at 80. So if you're a new player that just got Mesa and you can't get your power strength that high, at base is at 80. So it's still good for damage reduction. It's really good. Stack this up with adaptation, and you're set. You're set. You don't need to worry about anything. Now, her bread and butter is Peacemaker. Peacemaker, here's her bread and butter, or Jesus, tongue twister there. It's super good. It does a shit ton of damage, but you have to build for her regulators. Now, her regulators, mine isn't really built all too crazy. As you can see, I still got to work on it. I just recently started playing as her, so I still got a couple things to figure out. Um, Normally, you want to build for crit, and if you really want to do it, you can also build for status, but not really recommended, to be honest, in my opinion. There are good builds for her that do use viral, and also depending on what faction, you can also use toxin or for Ganir, corrosive, and fire for them. And infected is just straight up just use fire, but infected are just easy enemies to deal with anyways. In my opinion, infected are like the easiest like I don't want to get canceled, but easiest faction to go up against. Only real problem is they have toxin, which gets really annoying, but run adaptation and you're fine. Straight up, it does. As you can see, it doesn't do a lot that crazy amount of damage, but it kind of scales off of power strength a bit, not as much, because straight up, she really doesn't. She needs a good amount of power strength for her three, but for her regulators is how you mod them. Honestly, you could just, if you're a new player, you could just build this as you want. Just make sure you have high damage, and and maybe multi-shot. Multi-shot is a must for me because, you know, it's really good. It's really good. So galvanized diffusion, if you have it, use it. If you don't, just use regular diffusion, I guess. Like where I don't have it somewhere. Yeah, barrel diffusion. Just use regular. If you don't have that either, there is another one for multi-shot, which you could get from the open worlds. Plains of Eidolon. I spell multi wrong. I don't think I have it, but there is a. Yes, I do. It's right here. No, never mind. But there's another one for pistols that you could get that does increase your multi-shot by 60%. You could get that from the open worlds and Plays of Eidolon. So if you don't have galvanized diffusion or barrel diffusion, you can also go get that. And then you could just build for any status element if you want. It depends on the faction you're near. I use fire or corrosive or viral. Viral's also viral's always good against Ganir. For infected, fire. And be honest, fire's really good. And then for what's it called? Corpus, it's toxin. Always go for toxin. But her regulators have shit status to begin with, so you really have to build for that. Now, how I build my Mesa is just no range. She really doesn't need it. In my opinion, she doesn't need it because this doesn't really scale off of it at all. And as for augment, this just makes it where you can move. Not required, by the way, not required. It is just a quality of life improvement. So you can move around and dodge around while you're using regulators. It's really good to have. Also, why isn't it not maxed out? I don't think I could. Nope, I can't max it out right now. But this is a standard late game build. I'm gonna say late game build. You can honestly You can honestly use your starting mods. To be honest, she's as good at base for basic star chart. She will carry you through basic star chart with no fucking problem. So this is as basic as it gets for me at least. Malt augmented. There's another one that increases her critical chance. I'm pretty sure. Forgot what it's called. You can either use that. I use malt augmented just for more power strength because I don't have the other one. And Arcane Energize for because look at my efficiency. This trash, straight up garbage. Now we're gonna go damage check. Now honestly, we're gonna spawn steel path enemies because fuck it, right? And now you get a yoink. And now you get a stand still. Yeah, you see how little damage you take? You take a little, and now they're gonna start doing health damage after shield getting is gone. See, they do a little damage. And now you get shield. As you can see, I gotta build her better because mine doesn't really shred steel path enemies as much as I want to. You could do way more damage from what I'm doing from against steel path enemies, but let me just show you against normal star chart enemies because normal of the time that's what I play most of the time. Most of the time, you are playing against just normal star chart unless you're really grinding for late game items. So you have to deal steel path, but most of the time you're just doing basic star chart. Now, you can put an armor strip, replace her first ability with the armor strip, so you can do more damage. That is recommended. I recommend Terrify. Terrify is really good because you just depending on how you build her, you could just full on armor strip. People like to use Hildren's. Hildren is boring though. I hate using Hildren's ability. I don't even have it, but I just don't like it. It's just it's kind of cheap. But Terrify, I like Terrify. Terrify is just straight up. Plus put the augment for Terrify so enemies can't move. But it is recommended to put armor strip here because higher level enemies have a shit ton of armor, and regulators can't really do that much damage against armored enemies to begin with. That's why you put something like fire or corrosive on her regulator, so you can possibly do some armor stripping. But as you can see, I'm trying to kill enemy here. There we go. This is why you want to build for high crit chance. If you build high crit chance for your regulators, you do way more damage. Because crit is crazy in this game. Shoot the enemy, shoot the enemy, shoot the enemy. There we go. You can always just recast it too, just to get the bigger reticle like this, so you can shoot way more enemies. It takes me a bit to kill high level enemies. That's because I don't have her super build. I just recently started playing her. Overall, Mesa really doesn't have any weakness besides not having any armor strip. But in early game, you really don't need it. Basic star chart, you don't need armor stripping. She fucking shreds. Let me show you. Let me show you normal star chart enemies, right? They were still in steel path too. You know what? So let's remove steel path. Simulate, simulate. Now these are just standard enemies, not steel path enemies, so they ain't boost up. Still 125. You would not see level 125 in normal star chart at all. But as you can see, if these were like level 50s, they would die. Level 50s to 80s, because I'm pretty sure 80 is where that's 80 right there. It's pretty sure is for what's that game mode? Arbitration right there. But yeah, you could just shred any enemies that are not steel path. It is good. She is good. And you could definitely make her a steel path powerhouse. You just need to put armor stripping, couple Archon shards. Not even Archon shards. You really don't need Archon shards, but you know it helps. So you could put that on there. And honestly, for survivability, she already has Shatter Shield, which is really good. And then to get full reduction in damage, adaptation as well, so you just take less damage over time. You don't have to build for health because you're very tanky to begin with. You can if you're a new player. If you're really don't, if you're like, because energy economy at the beginning of the game kind of sucks because you don't got a lot of mods. You don't in your focus. You don't possibly have focus unlock, and even if you do, it's like low ranked. So your energy, depending on what your starter focus is, your focus school is. So I recommend if you're like trying to get into her while like you're new or like at least mid game, is to like rely on Shatter Shield just to reduce all damage. So make sure you put duration on there and strength, and then that's all you really need, to be honest. Maybe build for a bit efficiency as well, so you won't like your energy economy isn't too terrible. But you could get this to at least like 150 power strength, or at least 160 power strength, and that'd be pretty good. 160 power strength is extremely easy to achieve. You could get like other strength mods like Argus Secrets in the Plains of Ilon. Just join a public mission, do the bounty. It's gonna be pretty hard because the enemies are very high level, but trust me, Warframe community, especially you're in pubs, you'll get carried. You'll get carried. Trust me, you'll get carried. Don't worry about going down. You're fine. You'll get this mod eventually. It's rare, but the moment you get it, you can raise your power strength. You can use regular intensity as well. Yes, as you see, I don't need it in here because everything else. Power drift is pretty cheap to buy off the market. You could get it off for like 10 plat if you're lucky, 5 to be honest, because this is not really that rare. In my opinion, it's not that rare because it's pretty easy to get for pretty easy to get later on, but it is kind of a pain to try to grind for like rare mods like the gold mods. Besides flow, flow's easy to get, but I'm sidetracking. So new players, just build her however you want. Basically, just make sure you have decent amount of strength, decent amount of duration, and if you really want to, for the quality of life, a bit of efficiency. And if you're really worried about if you're really worried about your energy economy, put on a health mod, and you should be fine. You should be fine. You should be good. Extra health. If you have extra health and you have Shadow Shield, yeah, normal Star Chart ain't gonna touch you. And even in arbitration, you could still pretty much succeed with a normal build. You're gonna kind of struggle in arbitration though. So, but later on, as you improve, you get way more mods and way more possibilities to build for whatever you want. That's what I like about this game. You could build for wherever you practically are thinking of. So it's really good. She's one of the frames where you really don't have to think too hard about many things. The only thing you have to think about is her regulators and how you mod them to do damage. As for the arcanes, don't worry about arcanes because arcanes to new players inaccessible. You're not touching arcanes unless you really, really dip into Eidolon hunting very early on and have a crew or have like a clan mate or Discord server that do Eidolon huntings and that they could carry on. You can go to recruiting chat and try to get carried and try to get the Archon mods. Energize is really important for her. Energy economy on her is trash. Not too terrible, but does get annoying sometimes. And as for the other augment I have on her, augmented. Not necessarily. The other one is better. I forgot what's it called, but it raises your crit chance by I think 60% for each enemy killed, right? I think it's each enemy killed that you get. It goes up to 60% crit chance. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. That's also good. Normally you won't need this because look at her power strength. I really don't need it. Um, Other than that, as for channel news, videos are still coming out slow. I am sorry. Persona has eaten my life away. I'm not gonna be done with Persona anytime soon. I'm like 40% through that game. And I am planning on New Game Plus, but I am gonna try to get content as out as at a reasonable pace. So I am gonna hop on here, make a couple videos for a couple frames, and then just space them out. So I have multiple videos in the back burner. They're all there. They're all just chilling. But once I am done with Persona, I am gonna go back to playing Warframe regularly, and I am gonna do a stream. It is for Kuva hunting because my Colorvo still needs that Kuva heck, and I haven't got it in yet because I've been too busy. But other than that, you guys enjoy. You guys have a good one. Peace.